Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Jabian, and he's selling his display advertising, Amazon Associates, and affiliate business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Jabian, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really nice to have you on the call today and speak to you about this business you've created. But before we get into the details of the business, let's give a general overview. So it is a display advertising, Amazon Associates, and affiliate business in the beauty niche created in September 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $3,756 and makes an average of $3,400 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 53473 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. Now that I've given a general overview of the business, what's included in the sale is the domain and all sites, content, and files, one redirect domain and all of the content and files, social media, Facebook, and Pinterest accounts, 400 article briefs, standard operating procedures for the business, and an email list with over 200 subscribers. So, Jabian, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So my background kind of goes back to around 2012, 2013. I've kind of always had a penchant for turning my hobbies into businesses. So 2012, 2013, I was a home brewer, really loved home brewing, spent all my time studying and learning about that, turned that into a small yeast lab where I was selling kind of artisanal yeast online. Yeah, and that went pretty well for a while. And then I just didn't have time for it with work, so moved on to other stuff. Then kind of got into the whole longboarding scene with the longboard skateboards around 2014 and couldn't help myself, had to turn that into a business where I was selling longboards online, kind of small e-commerce shop. Yeah, same thing there. It was just a hobby kind of for a while, and then I just didn't have time for it any longer with work and kids. Then finally kind of learned about, through my wife, the whole FBA business. So started doing FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, selling wholesale products around 2016, 2017. Did that for a while, which I think for a lot of people, and definitely for me, turned into doing private label. Did that through 2018 up until almost 2019. Ended up selling that business, taking a year off to spend some time with my daughter before she went to school, and found out about affiliate sites. So started a small affiliate site. Really loved the business model. I kind of didn't love the FBA business model, didn't fit personality, but affiliate sites really did. So started an affiliate site, shortly after found kind of all the big names like Authority Hacker and Income School, and kind of put together kind of a system that works, kind of using all of their systems and the ones I liked and didn't like. And so started a second site, started a third site, started a fourth site, and now I'm selling one of those sites because it's one that I'm a little bit less passionate about, and I have some other sites I'm very passionate about. So figured I had to take some income and move on.
Yeah, that's really great that you were able to take some of your passion ideas and passion projects and put them into other businesses. And it's common that we see sellers that want to pass on the torch for their asset and let it go on to another business owner that can push it to its full potential. And, I'm curious. So with this business itself, it's generating income through display advertising, Amazon Associates, and affiliate. What would you say is the biggest driver in terms of revenue out of those monetizations for the business?
It's pretty 50-50, actually. It's pretty close. I think right now it's a little bit more on the display ad side, but depending on the time of the year, that can flip. So closer to any holidays, things like that, then the Amazon affiliate kind of jumps ahead of the display ads, but it's pretty close to 50-50.
Okay. If the business is doing so great at this time, JB, why are you deciding you'd like to sell it?
Well, kind of like I was mentioning earlier, this is in the beauty niche. That's not really my passion. As I mentioned earlier in the call, like my passions are around home brewing, longboarding, things that I love. And so I have some other sites in similar niches that I would like to spend my time focusing on instead of beauty niche.
Okay. Now, was there anything that you learned while growing this business that you plan on applying to those other sites and the longboarding and the other passion projects you have?
Oh, absolutely. This site was definitely where I sharpened my knife and learned all the SEO skills and link building skills and everything that I use on my other sites. So in particular, the things going forward that I've learned the most, and kind of part of the reason that I'm selling the site, is I think having a passion for it. When I first started, I didn't think that was important, but now I tend to think it's a little bit more important. So finding somebody who either has a passion for the beauty niche or doesn't have those same values, doesn't think that that's as important as I do, that to have them take over would, I think, better for the site than having me continue to do it with no passion.
Yeah, I completely understand that as well, too. And just by chance, was there anything with this business in particular that you tried and it just didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big one, and I think it's a huge opportunity for the site as well, is Pinterest. So I tried Pinterest with the site. For whatever reason, I couldn't make it work. I watch other beauty sites kind of blow up on Pinterest and Instagram. There's not social media platforms I use, so I don't think I understand them as well. And so for me, those haven't really brought in a lot of traffic. But for somebody who really understands them, I think there's a big opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely a low-hanging fruit for a potential buyer to come in and really push it to its full potential, utilizing Pinterest as the platform as well. And where would you say that a majority of your traffic is coming from then for the business? Is most of it coming through organic search, or is there also a lot of social media traffic that you're stemming in?
I would say, like 90 to 95% is Google search. And that's why I think there's such a big opportunity, not only to kind of diversify the traffic, but also to increase the traffic through social media. So yeah, the way I have it set up and what's working for me, has been working for me, is Google search.
Okay. Now, since we're already on that subject, why don't you give us an entire rundown on, hypothetically speaking, if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways that you would personally try and grow it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I were to keep the business, I would focus on what's working. Just like I mentioned, the things that I've tried that didn't work for me, I don't want to spend any more time on, and just kind of double down on what is working. And for me, that would be creating more content. I would double or triple down on creating more content around the same types of articles that are already working. And as you mentioned earlier, I have about 400 article briefs that are kind of ready to go. So I would just rehire a writer and have them go to town on those.
Yeah, it's a great roadmap that you have for a potential buyer, and kind of laying out what you would personally do to grow the business further and scale it further, especially if they have some of those extra, experiences with Pinterest or scaling social media platforms as well. And can you walk us through what are some of the daily or maybe weekly tasks that you're performing on the business at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting this year, I kind of took a step back from the business. So right now it's essentially on autopilot. I'm hardly doing anything other than checking the traffic, make sure there's no issues. That's really about it. Before that, though, when I was a little more active on the site, I would receive the articles back from writers, send it off to a VA. She would upload and create pictures and media for the site and for the articles. Then I would go in maybe once a week and just kind of check the articles that got uploaded, make sure they're formatted correctly, make sure they have the right affiliate links. And that would take maybe an hour or two a week of my time. And so that was when I was actively growing it. Like I said, this year I kind of taken a step back and just kind of let some of the income come in and using it and taking advantage of it rather than growing the site.
Okay. Now, do you feel that there's a particular skill set that a buyer should have prior to acquiring your business, or could most of the workload be learned during the transition period?
I think this site is a pretty simple site to operate. So while having some SEO background, social media background, management background, those kind of things would help, I don't really think they're necessary. I think everything could kind of be taught through the SOPs and the article briefs and things that I can provide in that transition period for even somebody without any experience to figure it out.
Yeah, that's a really great mention that you have those SOPs included as well. That goes a long way as well, too, in just kind of transitioning the asset to the new owner and kind of helping them, figure out the back end stuff as well. Now, what do you feel are maybe some of the potential risks associated with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
I think the big risks are the same with any affiliate site, especially one that's so dependent on Google search. And that is search algorithms change. And so content that was once ranking really well can end up ranking less well. I think our content's pretty high quality. Part of the kind of system that I have put together for building content really focuses on creating high quality content with people that are passionate about the niche. So the writers that I did have working for me were people that were very into beauty and could not only write articles, but make suggestions for new stuff that's come out and kind of get ahead of the curve on some stuff. So as far as the risk go, it's, Google change, Amazon can change affiliate rates, did that in the past. But outside of that, it's fairly low risk.
Yeah, that's a pretty common risk with most affiliate or, websites and content sites in general that rely on Google search traffic as well. And that's across the board in every niche as well, too. Now, are you willing to commit to a non-compete, meaning after the deal is complete, you'll stay out of this specific niche for the next 3 years?
Yeah, that'd be no problem. I think that might be clear already. I have no passion or interest in the beauty niche. So be no problem to do a non-compete for that.
Okay. And then how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and Skype support, or did you have something in addition that you would like to add on to that?
Yeah, the standard 30 days is what I had planned on doing, but I am open. So if somebody needs additional help or wants to negotiate something different than that, I'm open to that.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And then are you open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and then smaller payments closing out the deal, say, over the course of a few months after that?
Yeah, absolutely. I am open to that. I would prefer an all cash deal, but I would look at any offer and really give it a strong consideration.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And then just a few more sideline questions for you, Javian. So what advice would you give our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started building content sites?
Yeah, one piece of advice that I probably don't hear enough, when you join some of these groups or if you do a program like Authority Hacker or any of these, just because these guys have done it before doesn't mean that they know everything. And I think creating high quality content that makes the internet better is always going to do better than any little tactic that you learn here or there. Tactics are temporary, quality lasts forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something that, tactics are always going to be changing, especially with how quick software and SaaS businesses are always changing the way that we even do operations on the back end of these businesses. So yeah, I completely agree with you. On that subject, is there any software or tools or maybe even other resources that really helped you at the start of building these types of businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So even though I, did say don't listen to everything they say, people like the Authority Hackers, people like Income School, you guys have a lot of great information. And I think when you're starting, following one of those programs is a great way to get started. Just understand nobody has all the answers, so you can deviate and learn for yourself the best way to do things.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You're always going to get the best experience learning firsthand compared to just what someone might tell you. So yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Awesome, Javian. So that pretty much wraps up this call. Our final question that we do have for you, though, is putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer. Why do you think that your business is worth buying?
I think it's worth buying because I think there's a lot of potential. So the beauty niche, there are endless beauty products. There's endless amount of money being spent in that industry. So I think there's tremendous potential for upside and so much room for growth. So for me, like I said, if I was keeping it, I'd go hard on content because there's just so much that can be written. And so I think for that reason, it's definitely worth purchasing. They can grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at your listing and seeing the traffic numbers and revenue numbers as well, too. It's a really great opportunity. And, I'm sure once this has been circulating around, we'll see this getting sold for you here in the near future. So thanks again for jumping on the call, Javian, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And all right, everyone, thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 53473. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.